look scared. He should be. It is the end of the world.
What's happening?
He wants to take control of you. It's up to you to resist him.
There's a way to save the world and still survive.
All you have to do is choose life.
Did you bring the plans?
About that, I've decided not to join you in your cosmic fashion tragedy that you're in cahoots with.
Then you won't get your Earth back.
If saving it means going back to the person that I used to be, then what the hell is the point?
You really have changed.
Look, I'm new to this whole doing the right thing game, but you should really tell your family the truth.
Not yet.
Then this is gonna be a little awkward.
I didn't want to believe it.
I'm sorry.
Lila, what have you done?
He sent you here to get me. Because the crisis is here. I will be running home to you.
Suit up for the biggest crossover ever.
We've got your backs.
Crisis on Infinite Earths. The CW's crossover event begins Sunday, December 8th. Presented by Boost Mobile, the switch that gives you more.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. We have a brand new Flash and Crisis on Infinite Earths trailer, so we'll break it down. We're doing a Flash Ring giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your best theory about Crisis on the video. So just starting with the beginning of the footage, you probably noticed a whole bunch of Easter eggs and all this. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in this, so I'll just try to break it down one thing at a time, starting with the Flash footage. So episode 7 is called The Last Temptation of Barry Allen, but it's a 2-part mid-season finale before they do the crossover episodes. The synopsis just reads that Barry gets infected with Ramsey Rosa's black goo and starts tripping balls on his way to becoming a version of the Negative Flash. And because it's Ramsey's consciousness taking over Barry's body, they might use that to create a TV version of Red Death. Everybody wondered how they were going to accomplish Red Death because they teased him last season. Red Death in the comics is the combination of a version of Batman combined with a version of the Flash, but Batman's mind takes over the body of the Flash, so he's the one that's running around using the Flash's powers. That's kind of what's going on with Ramsey Rosa here, but it's them doing a version of Negative Flash because he was Negative Flash during the Ramsey Rosa Bloodwork arc in the Flash Rebirth comics, so it's a bunch of different Flash characters combined into one thing for this 2-part finale, so it sounds like it's going to be a pretty big deal. But the synopsis also says that Ramsey turns most of the city into his minions with that black goo, and then the rest of Team Flash has to find a way to stop him, while it seems like Iris West is going to uncover the secret behind Black Hole that'll spill into the back half of the season after Crisis on Infinite Earths. So you see Barry wake up in a couple different places in this. He's in the loft watching the blast wave of antimatter during Crisis on Infinite Earths erasing everything from existence. It's a bit of an Easter egg for the pilot episode when he saw the particle accelerator explode and he had the same look on his face as he watched the blast wave wash over him and then he got his Flash powers. This time it's the opposite of that, and it's kind of like the Runaway Dinosaur episode, or episodes where he spends the entire episode inside the Speed Force, where you're not really sure what's real and what's fake. He passes out here, this is probably in the real world, then he's back in the Mindspace version of his childhood bedroom. I think the last time we visited this room was in the Runaway Dinosaur episode from season 2. When his mother's speaking to him here, trying to help him, it's unclear if she's one of the Speed Force wormhole aliens, or if it's just his own subconscious and he's speaking to himself using the form of his mother. Then he and Ramsey are inside the time vault looking at the future newspaper. Notice that the date on it reads December 10th. That's the actual day in real life that we will be watching the Flash episode of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Then Ramsey telling him to choose life and give over control of his body and his powers to him, although it's unclear why Ramsey wants the powers of the Flash, maybe just to infect and turn people faster. Like Ramsey can use him to run around and put the black goo in everybody way faster than he normally would. Then this is a big one. He's inside Nora's baby bedroom. That's her crib with her little hand reaching for the XS symbols spinning above her. Iris West is actually writing the actual article that will become the future newspaper. In the original timeline, she actually wound up winning a Pulitzer Prize for writing that article. But then there's Barry in real life reaching down to touch something that might be before he gets infected for the first time with that black goo. So reminder about The Flash, 2-part mid-season finale over the next 2 weeks, then the crossover starts. For everyone asking where Reverse Flash is, I'm assuming that he'll either show up right before the crossover in the mid-season finale in some sort of post-credits tag, or he'll just show up during the crossover doing something evil and explain where he's been for the past couple of months. The Arrow Crisis on Infinite Earths scene is sort of a continuation or a sequel to the Laurel post-credits scene from last week where the Monitor asked her to betray Oliver Queen. This time she gives them the middle finger and then tells Oliver and Diggle, Lila's secret, that she's been double-crossing them working with the Monitor this whole time as the Harbinger character. Lila has them tranked and they'll just pick up with that at the beginning of next week's episode. The whole thing that Laurel was supposed to do to betray Oliver Queen was steal these plans when they went to Russia on their little field trip to steal plutonium, but also she was supposed to steal plans for a special weapon that was this big blast wave generator for the Monitor. It probably has something to do with the giant cosmic tuning forks that they create during the original comic book Crisis on Infinite Earths. They've been assembling a whole bunch of different parts. Oliver was stealing dwarf star particles for the Monitor for whatever it is that he's building, but like I said, it's probably the tuning forks. But the big thing with Laurel this season is they're trying to turn her good because she's going to be on the Green Arrow in the Canaries spin-off TV show, which they just actually said is going to be set during the future. I feel like if you really enjoy the future Team Arrow characters and those storylines this season, or you really like the Canary characters, you'll probably be down for that new Arrow spin-off show, but for now, I'm just going to be focusing on Crisis on Infinite Earth stuff because there's already way too much stuff to handle between all the different shows. There's going to be a lot of Easter eggs, but don't worry, if you don't follow all the shows, I will be explaining all the Easter eggs as we go along. The recent stuff they just revealed was the first look at Tom Welling as Smallville's Superman. He was wearing the flannel on his version of the Kent farm on Smallville's Earth. We don't know what the designation of that is going to be. There were so many people that were wondering why he's chopping wood with an actual axe and why he's wearing gloves. People were worried that he lost his powers. My assumption there is that he's just being nostalgic. He's just doing it because he likes to do it. He doesn't need to wear gloves. He could actually just chop those in half with his hand. He could cut up wood with his laser eyes, but that's typically not something you would find Superman doing. Usually he does stuff the old-fashioned practical way when he's on the Kent farm. As awesome as it is seeing him play that character again, I'm also really hyped up to see what they're doing with the Kevin Conroy older version of Batman that's wearing that very Kingdom Come looking Batman harness. The whole idea with his character, if you didn't follow the Kingdom Come storyline or if you didn't read it, is actually awesome, so I would recommend checking it out at some point. That version of Batman was a little more cynical. It was a bit of a post-apocalyptic environment. All the superheroes' children in the future generations just wound up being terrible. The world devolved into chaos. So it was kind of a situation where a lot of the old guard, the classic superheroes from the Golden Age like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, had to come out of retirement to kick a whole bunch of ass. So I'm assuming they'll just have a lot of Easter eggs for Kingdom Come with this version of Batman, maybe a couple Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond Easter eggs too, just because it is Kevin Conroy. But just because he's wearing the harness, I'm assuming most of the Easter eggs will be for Kingdom Come. I talked about this recently too, because Brandon Routh's Superman becomes Kingdom Come Superman, and there's a lot of Easter eggs for his Kingdom Come origin story in the last preview that they dropped. I'm wondering if his Batman is also from the same Earth as Brandon Routh's Superman. You have to remember that even though Superman looks a little bit older, he has those streaks of gray, he ages so much more slowly than other people that he'll wind up living for thousands and thousands of years. Usually why you see in the future when they do Legion of Superhero stories and Superman isn't fighting with them, it winds up being Superboy in the Legion of Superheroes, it's because Superman has died for some reason and he's not around anymore. But the whole idea with Kingdom Come Superman is that he's a Superman whose Lois Lane was killed by the Joker in an attack. He became super cynical, he went into seclusion, and eventually the other classic heroes like Batman and Wonder Woman convinced him to come back and help kick the asses of all these younger superheroes that were going crazy. Obviously, this is all about Crisis on Infinite Earths, so you have a lot of different major DC comic book stories intersecting, so I'll just try to deal with all the Easter eggs episode to episode as we get them all. But let me know in the comments, what are all your predictions? What are you most excited to see? There'll be more trailers probably in the next week or two, so as soon as they drop new footage, I will totally do videos for that stuff. I'll name a new giveaway winner when I post new DC. While you wait for that, click here to learn about the big Joker 2 movie announcement that happened this morning, and click here for the Star Wars Mandalorian Episode 2 video. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.